Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. Before we begin, Marcus, what did you want to ask?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that I have 3 points of totem, and I don't know what it's for or how you're going to use it. But I feel the need to remind you that Skatha is my totem.
That's why she's being vaguely helpful. What do you want from her?
Nothing. Just making
Took
sure.
over you once when you wanted her to.
Anywho,
The hour has just ticked 1 minute to the second past midnight. It is a cold evening. Your breath rise in front of you. And you, Duncan Campbell, find yourself at home. What would Duncan be doing just after midnight?
his fourth set of sit-ups of 100.
All right. You hear a great shaking knock at the door, almost as if it was clipped by a hound of hell. It knocks once, it knocks twice, and then it knocks thrice.
He gets up and he kind of walks over to the door and kind of, can I help you?
You open the door.
Yeah.
You see a figure standing there, a great figure dressed all in black. Though you can see the skin underneath it that's almost vaguely translucent. He looks up at you and he says, in the old manner, in the native language, in the old tongue, he says, "May I have a place by your fire to warm myself?"
Sure, and you can for a night or longer if need be.
Oh, I'll be gone by the time the dawn rises.
Well, I just
May I cross your threshold?
do you plan to abide by all the rules of hospitality?
There's a moment as he raises his hand to just under the cowl of the mask, and you can hear him spit into the hand as he extends it.
I'll do the same.
The deal is struck. For the record, the hand is so cold, it almost numbs you to the bone.
Luckily, I felt this sort of thing before.
And the figure will step across the threshold. So, you're Duncan.
Aye, Duncan.
You don't have the look of your father about you.
No, I didn't.
But you have your mother's eyes.
Oh, sure, that's a kind thing to say.
Mm.
So you know my family then?
Boy, he pulls down the hood. I am your family.
This is my uncle.
This is, in fact, your great uncle Horace.
Uncle Horace! I thought you were dead.
Who says I'm not, boy?
Oh, sit down, sir. Please. a fine mess you've created.
Mess, you say? Mess? You there, scribbling and scrootling down there with a book that you have no business of having.
Sir, I'll have you know it's by my right, and you know so.
Right, right is it, he says to me.
By
Jesus.
blood. By blood, sir. By blood, sir.
By blood, he says. By blood. Are you ready for what's contained within those pages? Because I tell you by, you're not.
Sir, 'tis my job. 'Tis my job to see to two things. That the dead are cared for, and that our family name's not tarnished. And I'll nay give not to horrible credence to the things that people have said about you, that spake about you, sir.
Well, to answer your question, I am indeed dead, for the record, boy. But that is not strictly to say that my body is dead.
Sir, what's come to pass then? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, and would you like some sustenance? I've got
You give,
whiskey.
you give me a dram of the good stuff, and I'll tell you a tale.
Oh boy. I go get my stuff. I'm almost out, Evan.
You need to write your man and your path for more.
I may have to if they're still alive, yeah, because Cyber 9's not playing no games.
Do you really think the Cypher Knight is going to go to the Isle of Skye to kill 2 fucking dirt farmers?
I mean, he's a bored guy. Who knows? He pours him a glass, like not playing no games, because he's dead. He probably should be drinking.
No, then it was a time ago. It's interesting when you die, the concept of time kind of slips away from you. But needless to say, it was a dark, dark night. I was doing as our family always do, taking care of the deed and making sure that their holy places are not defiled. It was a dark night. But there was no moon, you see. When there's no moon, queer things walk abroad. As I'm sure you know all too well, nephew.
He does like dumb Celtic stuff, like toss salt and stomp 3 times and shit like that when he says no moon in that time and all that stuff. He goes, I
came upon. There was a funeral that day. I remember well. A funeral. Young girl had died. She'd been taken by the consumption.
Oh,
terrible way to go. Terrible, terrible way. It eats you from the inside out. Now, some say that her father, well, he was a God-fearing man, or rather, he feared God but did not know the love of God, if you understand my meaning.
Oh, it was a man who'd done terrible things, is what he'd done.
Aye. And I came upon him, the mire and the muck, for it had been raining that day upon him, and he was chanting all kinds of fell words for fell deeds, her body in his arms. Aye. Now, I tried to put it right. I tried to reason with him. I tried to speak words to him. Hell, I tried to hit him at one point.
It usually works.
Well, for you, maybe, but I was an old man at that point. So, no. However, the problem was that this place, well, it had seen many dead. It had seen victims of the famine, victims of the plague, dark words, darker souls, angry souls had been interred within those cemetery walls for time immemorial.
But they held though, sir. We done the words, said them over him, and our Gran was watching over everything. Should have been fine then.
Should have been. But I find that hatred, when it gets deep into you, when it gets into the bones, into the marrow, it's very hard to dislodge. And there was something dark and wicked in that place that night. For the girl, I'm not going to say she came back, because that's a bastardization of the truth. But something came back. Something crawled into that girl's body and used it like a puppet. Something dark and something malicious. Needless to say, though, the man had some power to him, or rather, to say he didn't. But the book he had, the book that you now have, well, that's a different story. I didn't write that grimoire, you see. I was merely, well, when to say the last incumbent, the body was the last incumbent, I suppose. For you see, the girl stood up in all the splendor and majesty of a corpse rotten thing that should have stayed dead. And I tried, I battled with it, strength of will against strength of will, but unfortunately, well, the body was old, and that thing was filled with a lot, so much blasphemy and so much pain. It overcame me, drove me out to wander fleshless, the soul only alone, as it took up residence in me, took everything that I was, including the spark that gave me my own ability to tend to the dead, and walked away.
It took your shine, sir.
Took me shine straight out of me by.
Thing can't be done. It can't. It was given to us. Iron by blood and training.
That's what I would have said to you, but it did. There were dark secrets in that book, by. I don't know how it is that it got away from it. Got away from me, got away from whatever was riding my poor old bones. That book raised something that night, something so unclean and so impure that it would break your back with a curse. So when I hear word on the grapevine for one of the big wigs down there that you're asking questions about it, well, I say to myself, it's time to cash in, you Horace. You need to go up and set the boy straight, and so here I am, and I find you all twisted up in knots like some kind of roundabout.
Sir, it come to me. It says people need me to understand what's in there to put something right. It's my job, sir.
Well, how did they say to open the blasted thing?
Tears of a man who had lost all his faith.
That's a dark thing to see, boy. That's a dark thing to see.
But I didn't plan to open it that way.
Oh no, and how did you plan to see the thing opened?
It's a doorway, sir. I believe it's a doorway. I believe it was kept safe. You see, a man came to me and told me that I'm unpredictable. Says that that's the key to my power. I took him at his word. And since then, I've walked a path that's crooked, not straight. So that the things that are and the things that be can't see me coming.
There's wisdom in that statement, boy.
It's all I have. Great Big Dragon says so. For instance, we learn death is one thing, but you don't stand at her whim. You'll not stand at her whim. You see, it's about perception, sir. Now, we've been given the training, the spark, the energy to do what others can't, to watch over the dead, to please the fair folk, to make sure that our name is carried on. That's what we are supposed to do. Now, you've done a great thing. You kept it safe. Now it's my turn to carry the burden. And I take it upon me because that shouldn't have been in that place. See, the book needed to be out. So the book's out. But the book may need be open. Because the person that wants the book's going to come for the book, see? Because that person wanted the book out. Or did the universe want the book out? So now I has it. So now it's going to come face to face to me to see what it wants. Then
And when that happens, boy, you're going to do your Uncle Horace a service and you're going to put his bones to rest.
Well, Sarah had to find him first, wouldn't I?
Well, if you're right and he comes to you, you'll know what to do, and you'll know that even though it wears the face of your uncle, it's most certainly not.
Could be you're not my uncle.
What proof can I give you? Let it see you satisfied.
Whether you are or you aren't makes no difference. You are my uncle in face, and that's who you spake you were when you came through that door.
Aye. I will not have been said that Horace Campbell bore false witness to someone who would offer him hospitality and bread and salt. It'd turn your great-grandmother in her grave, it would.
Once that's the other thing, the other ace in the hole. She ain't said nothing, so you must be who you say you are.
Oh, is that conniving old biddy still talking to us?
She heard that, and now I'm gonna get it.
She seems... She is watching patiently, if that makes sense.
So I'll need your blessing, sir.
You have it, and many times over, as I said. As long as you do me the service of putting me old bones on the ground to rest.
Oh yeah, when I lay him down to the ground, because he'll be lying. Aoife's kiss will fix what needs to be fixed.
I have no doubt of that, boy. I have no doubt of that. Well, I tell you what, dawn will soon be upon us. Give me another dram for the road.
Before I do, sir, when you walked upon the path to come up here, did you not notice the lack of walkers?
I was deep down, deep in the city of the dead, I suppose. They call it the necropolis. But there were no one on the roads. 'Twas as quiet as a grave, for lack of a better word.
I need you to mark me.
Oh,
Oh, why?
why is that, by?
Seems to me the living and the dead have themselves a kind of dance. Quick and the dead, moving, shaking, and all that jazz. Well, I've been given no token. I had one for a while, but you used it. I'll need another.
What do you need it for?
To be perfectly honest, the living ain't respecting the dead. Don't even notice what's going on right under their nose. So can't
So,
call. So my idea, which is insane in the extreme. My character, I'm already a bridge. Nix that. Don't worry about it. Nix that. Sorry, don't worry about it. Forget that. Rewind.
why? What were you trying to say? Sorry.
Well, what he's gonna say is like, look, we have no proof of standing. The thing is that no ghost is giving me their, hey, I'm down with you. I've got no tokens of the dead. The spirit that's even bound to me isn't even. It's not technically dead because it's my grandmother. She's giving me superpowers. She's great. And there's a totem that's watching over me. That's great. But there's no dead that said, hey, I trust you. You feel me?
I get you.
Would you vouch for me, uncle?
Aye, bye. You'll have my word, whatever it's called for. Though I'm curious, why is it that this place is devoid of those dearly departed? Why is it that they're not in the cemeteries? Why is it that they're not wandering?
'Twas a caretaker here before me. Was not nice. That caretaker is gone.
Sure, why aren't they celebrating then?
Because that caretaker had a job to do, in my opinion. Because the dead would not sit and let someone like that exist and do what he was doing if he doesn't doing what needed to be doing.
And now he's gone, and everything's out of balance.
Aye.
Hmm.
There's one what might take up the mantle, but I'm not sure he's ready.
Well, boy, as I said, he stands another dram for the road for your Uncle Horace.
I give him one, and then do a crazy Celtic toast because that's how you do things. Because you guys are awesome.
We are pretty cool. And with that, he will depart. So we shall say thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.